Hey, what's up, everybody? How is everybody doing out there this fine Tuesday evening? Thank you all for being here. And yeah, quite the, uh, like I said, every day just gets a little bit interesting, doesn't it? Before we get started, I got a couple of things I want to go over. I'm looking here for something, but I don't see it. Several things in regards to a little story I want to tell, and something that happened to the channel in my Discord. Cyber hackers, man. Anyways, but we'll get into that real quick. Let me back this up and say hello to some of you folks that have been hanging out here for a bit. What's up, B Walker? On my way, aka Ethel, Little Miss Prepper. Don is in the house. JT Mitten, TN Prepping Lady, good to see you. Passamaquoddy, they should have sounded the alarm when they're getting paid to destroy their crops. Agreed, Passamaquoddy. Mama Bear J15. Let me see who else. We got Nate in the house. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. I feel like I should have some background music playing when I'm going over these for saying the hellos on the channel. Anyways, what's up, Liz Chavez? Good to see you. Richard Moore. And I think I got you, JT. Who else? We got Scott in the house. Scott, thanks for sending an email, Scott. That was really cool. I'm glad to see that you're doing some stuff. You're doing the things, man. That's really awesome of me, man. And I'd like it to always hear if I've ever inspired anybody to do anything, either start a garden or start prepping, anything of that nature. I like to hear from you folks. You know what I mean? So I think that's really cool. Snakebite, what is up, man? Little Lone Prepper. Minuteman69. Am I giving away a Tesla? Not yet, but you never know. Maybe in the next decade or so if we're still here. Oh, boy. I just don't like them, to be honest with you. There's some pros and cons to it, but I don't know. What's up, Patricia? ND Cowgirl. Good to see you. I've got flour in the freezer going to Mylar bags. Awesome. I love to hear when you guys are prepping, man. That's what we need to do. We need to focus on that tremendously. What's up, Harvey Black? Dun, dun, dun. I need to come up with a way, something to buy my time. Bitter Critter, good to see you. Matter of fact, Bitter Critter, I just saw your pig video, cage fight or something like that, Bitter Critter. That was awesome. Debbie Singleton, hello from Savannah, Georgia. Welcome, Debbie. Welcome, Debbie. Big Dog in the house. Good to hear you, brother. Good to have you. Little Alaskan Home Place. Good to see you. Yarn Prepper is here. Awesome. Little Lone Prepper. Okay. I'm just making sure to Miss Teresa. Good to see you as well. Teresa S. Dobby, good to see you. Lawrence Daniels, thank you for joining us today. John Jones. John, you just made me think of something. Camp for Low. Ola from Baja. That's pretty cool. Ola. Lady Casca, good to see you as well. Allison Sherman. Deacon Prepper's in the house. Jenny Christensen is in the house. PJ Burke is in the house. Aaron Goodman. Suze is in the house. Deb Woods. Margarita Castro. Hello from Virginia. What's up, Dale? Quest Conquest as well. Who else? Oh, I just saw somebody I just missed. There he is. NA Strength. Good to see you. A lot of new names, which is awesome. I really like to see that. And I want to say, I'm going to just back up a little bit. Isabel, just Isabel. Hello there, right on Isabel. Just Isabel. Amanda Evanson is in the house. Happy Hippie Homestead. Hello from chilly upstate New York. I wish it was chilly down here. It's been really nasty and hot and humid down here. Ann Palmer, good to see you as well. Let me see. Do I miss anybody? Dragon Slayer. Hello. Flapping wings. Hello. How do you keep from getting old? That's a good question. I wish I could figure that out because I'm about to tell a story about that. Oh man. I hope I got Peace Train of America. Great to see you as well. Great to see you as well. All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. So I don't, Chet, what's up, Chet? Good to see you. You're not late. You're just in here. Me just rambling on, saying hello to some folks. Anyways. So first of all, first thing I want to say is I had some issues. Actually, one of my moderators, I think it was Harvey, and somebody else wrote me as well, had some issues with integrity of my Discord and the YouTube channel. I almost got into a situation where we almost lost the channel. So I have revamped and resecured. I mean, I've put some heavy security on this bad boy now. Paid a little extra for certain things and odds and ends. But yeah, I don't know, something with the password, and someone was trying to get something. But I have a little program called, it's kind of like a honeypot. It makes people think they're doing something when they're really not doing something. But we didn't lose anything. They didn't get anything. I just saw that they tried to do a bunch of stuff, and it did create some havoc on YouTube in regards to, what's it called? Moderation and bans and all kinds of weird stuff like that. So I had to go in there. What's up, David Hicks? The convoy is doing good still. That's awesome. Good to hear, David. Potato Head, good to see you. So if you're a mod on my channel, right? I cleaned up the mod section a little bit. And the reason I did this is I'm trying to focus. I need to, the people that I see here all the time, like, you see Jan, you see JT, you see Harvey, and you see several folks here all the time. So I wanted to kind of like wind down the moderation thing, so I know who specifically I'm dealing with. Roughly, I just narrowed it down to 5 mods. So anybody who was a mod, who may not be a mod anymore, nothing against you. I swear it's not. I'm just trying to focus in and rein in things a little bit so that I can kind of pay attention to who has access to what and what's going on. So I do apologize to any of you folks out there if you have any issues. Anybody that was a mod that was on the channel that I might not have seen, or you might have been here in a while and you happen to come across it, like, hey, I lost my wrench, just email me and I'll talk to you about it, on a personal level behind the scenes. So I wanted to get out the way in case I don't want anybody to get upset, but that's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. It's YouTube. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you. Muzzle Flash, good to see you as well. Hopefully you guys don't mind me, kind of going over that real quick. Yesterday, I learned something. Good to see you, Allison. And David Hicks, some of the convoy channels have too many mods. That's the problem. Is I've been getting a lot of issues. It's just sometimes you just have an overabundance. Now it's nice, but if you have a situation where you have a lot of mods, you need to filter out and see who's in here the most, who's most beneficial to the channel. Not that saying the other folks aren't, but you need to just kind of like sometimes rethink and restructure things so that you can kind of keep an eye on things a little bit better. Because when you give a mod a wrench, they have a little bit of power. Be it here on Discord. So you got to just kind of have the ability, since it's your content, your channel, you need to know what people are doing. And sometimes it besieges me because I'm so busy with other stuff, I don't have time. So I depend that everything with the moderators are doing is fine. And 99% of the time it is. I've had some issues in the past, but we're getting it all worked out. Anyways, so if you're still here on your wrenched up, you passed that test. And the aspect of you're just always here and helping out and doing everything you possibly can. Anyways, out the way, I want to say yesterday, I want to say thank you to folks in Discord. Yesterday I had a big issue. If you see me wince today, is because I injured myself yesterday in the garden. After that Ladybug video, I was moving 40-pound bags of soil and things like that. I twisted wrong, messed up my back. Last night I got to the point where I could not barely walk. I felt like my 72-year-old father. And it got really bad, but I used some medicinal things outside of traditional medicine and put some rubs on my back and stuff like that. Today's a lot better, thank God. But it made me learn one thing, because as I sat there in pain, and don't worry, folks, we will get to the topic. But as I sat there in pain and realized how incapacitated I was for the several hours, I realized something. I was like, I can't let this happen again. And I know someone says, well, you can't prevent all injuries, but I need to find a way to better prevent this from happening. Because if we were in a true situation where my family needed me, it would scare me a little bit that I wasn't able to perform the best to my ability. So I need to step up my game on physical preparedness. And what I mean by physical is that physical fitness thing. I need to get in better shape and do a little bit more. Luckily enough that I do a lot more than some folks do. So I recover quickly, but still being down for a day or two in a SHTF scenario or very trying scenario is probably not the best bet, especially if I'm the most accurate with a firearm or something like that, right? Anyways, folks, so all in all, I wanted to let some of you folks, I am feeling a bit better. I still got some pain there. It's going to take a couple days. The older we get, things take a little bit longer to heal, but I'm doing what I can. All right, so enough of that, right? Enough of that. Hello from hot Houston. What's up, Nancy? Lori D. Ladybug video is great. Thank you. I was really hoping that folks would really enjoy that. It's a very short video, 7.5 minutes long, but I wanted to share that as an option for folks, that want to use beneficial bugs in the garden, because there's a lot of them out there. People talked about the praying mantis. I specifically honed in on the ladybugs this time, and went through a little bit of information with the ladybugs, and people seem to enjoy it. Like I said, it was a nice, relaxing video to do. Because I was bogged down in the garden, and I had this plan for quite some time, and the ladybugs were tired of waiting around and they wanted to get into the garden. Kathy M, thank you so much. Thank you, Voodoo Queen. I appreciate that. Good. What's up, Big Bear Prepper? So I truly appreciate that. I have a little pillow behind me to help me. I don't know, because I know I'm going to be sitting here for an hour, and that, that one position without moving will kind of exacerbate things. Yes, Empress Kimberly, as of last night and this morning, there's several dozen out there. Some of them have found little spots to kind of like hang out in. The other ones are doing their job. They are hanging out over by the squash plants. Or not squash, the zucchini plants. They're hanging out over by the watermelon. Some are still on the tomatoes, and some are still on the purple hall peas. And some of them made their way around the garden. I've seen one on the banana plant, just kind of hanging out on a leaf, but they're still hanging out. And funny enough, there's even a couple of them that were, doing the, the not how they were mating per se. When last night when the wife went to go out there and check on them, we went to use a light and see how they were doing, and there was a couple that were having a good time. So I guess they were, wanted to spread their wings a little bit per se. East Coast news. Have you heard about the Vlad recon ship seen 10 miles off the coast of Hawaii? I have not. East Coast news. It's funny because there's so much information pouring in from every different channel, from every different media source, and it's so much that I couldn't even cover everything that's going on in this world in a single live stream because there's so much. But thanks for sharing that. And that's what I depend on you folks, the viewers and the people that interact in chat, is to share information like that, so that we can look into it and take it a step bit further and, do a little research on that. I appreciate that, Peace Train. What's up, Butch? Good to see you from Colorado. Shifts the international water. Shocking. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things going on. And that's why I feel that we are at the edge. We're like right at that edge, folks, where if a couple other more pieces of the puzzles fit in, we're going to be in a nasty situation if we're already not there. A lot of people say, Grey, we are there. And I can agree on that opinion as well when it comes to what we're seeing around the world and here at home in the U.S. What's up, Tony Geary? Pilgrim Prepper, good to see you from Plymouth, Mass. Awesome. A lot of people are watching the primaries tonight, or not even the primaries, but the Pennsylvania primary, seeing how that plays out, because there's a lot of there. I think North Carolina is also having a primary and a few other places that'll resolve this evening, but November shall be interesting. Anyways, let me move forward and get into what we're going to bring. First, I know I'm going to bring something up and somebody's going to say, there's always that person's going to be like, it doesn't really matter. And I understand, but I want to bring up something that we can relate to, what's happening over in Sri Lanka. And the reason I'm bringing this is because we always had that mindset that, it'll never happen here. And then as we see things happen in other countries, all of a sudden we'll see scenarios develop here in the US. And then we're like, wow, I guess things can happen here. So let me bring up this first article real quick that I want to share with you folks in regards to Sri Lanka. And this is where I got the idea for On the Edge, because they're pretty much in a nasty situation. And of course, the IMF, if you guys know the crazy IMF, those folks that like to loan money and the central banks are coming in to step in to save these people. So if you know anything about the IMF and the history of the IMF, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. If you ever listen to Rudy at Alaska Prepper and read the book Confessions of a Economic Hitman, if you want to read it, get the audiobook. I'm telling you, it will open your eyes and make you wake up to what the American government, does behind closed doors and what we do to other countries. There's some very, very telling information in that book. Again, it's Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Rudy's talked a lot about it, and that's what got me into it. I read it, and I was appalled and shocked, but not surprised. Anyways, let's get into this article. It says, Sri Lanka economic crisis may be worse than during the 3-decade-long civil war. So this situation is worse than a 30-year war in Sri Lanka. Gas pumps are all but dry. And the new prime minister, and I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm just going to Ranil, revealed that the mounting disaster is even worse than he imagined. He took the role last week after widespread protests forced his predecessor into hiding, said on a national television on Monday that the government could not find even $5 million to import gasoline. So the company's bankrupt. They have no money. They have no gas, limited food, if any at all. Pretty nasty situation. Anyways, with no money coming, fuel ships remain anchored offshore. Their cargoes out of reach. The next couple of months will be the most difficult ones of our lives. Details a large part of the population is struggling to scratch together 3 meals a day, and cooking gas has been out for weeks. So they have no gas, they have no regular cooking gas, and the country is bankrupt. Hospitals are short on life-saving medicines. Pharmaceutical companies have not been paid for in months. Despite years of warnings that the ruling family was mismanaging the country, the collapse is dizzying, said the foreign reserve had stood at 7.5 billion when Rajapaksa, that's how you say his name, returned to power in 2019, and they have since fallen to almost nothing. So here's the reason I'm bringing that up. And the reason I wanted to share this with you guys is mismanagement of funds. Mismanagement of funds is people are like, well, here in the U.S., that could never happen. Sri Lanka is different than the U.S., a lot smaller, more corrupt. But how do we know that for sure? How do we know that for sure? Have we looked at how much money that we've been printing over the last several decades, if not longer, and look at the current spending our government is doing? Look at the current crises that are right around the corner. The diesel fuel. Diesel fuel is huge. We need diesel fuel. Our farmers need diesel fuel. It's a huge situation. And we're going to talk about a few of these things. But the diesel fuel thing is a very scary thing to look at with the big picture because of what things need diesel fuel to work. You know what I mean? A lot of our trucking industry, there's warnings coming from the trucking industry as well. There's a lot of crazy situations arising. What's up, David Hicks? Yeah, Rudy's awesome, man. Kathy M, we're exactly in a financial mess. Is Rudy in chat? Uh-oh. He's going to know I was talking about him. But anyways, and like I said, you guys got to check out that book. After I read it, now I understand why Rudy, suggests that book, because it will open up your eyes to see. And it's a nonfiction book. It's fact. You know what I mean? It's not like some sort of apocalyptic book that you read. This is something that's factual. And it's quite interesting, to say the least. They don't want to mismanage funds in America. They know exactly whose pocket. Yeah, Minuteman, you can say that. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's how it rolls here in this country. JT says ambulances, fire trucks, snow plows use diesel. Yep, exactly. Farmers' trucks use diesel. It's this whole, just things are getting crazy. So let me see here. I think someone mentioned it to me earlier. Let me bring up my folder here. They were talking about potatoes. I think it was Rudy that was talking about potatoes earlier today, and I wanted to talk about that as well. I wanted to bring up and touch on it, since that's going to be something that everybody's looking forward to. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of you folks ask me, what should I be growing in the garden in the 50-gallon grow bag? And a lot of you people suggested potatoes. Well, with this situation, as it here on the screen, it says, that might be the best bet is to start growing my own potatoes, because might not be able to get potatoes. And some people, I've looked into the whole potato, some people call it the potato apocalypse or the spud apocalypse and stuff like that. Trying to figure out what's the main reason why behind this. So this is going to kind of dive into a little bit of why. Also, it's also more than just not having potatoes. It's also the fact that they can't get potatoes transported from one place to another. So it's a culmination of things. And hasn't it been this way with everything? Anytime that you hear something like the formula situation, and here's what blows me away about the formula situation. I know I'm going on a little side note here. So our government, they're opening up the plant back up, which is going to take weeks and weeks and weeks to get formula running and getting shipped to places, because of course the whole shipping situation is out of whack. But their FDA says that they're going to loosen restrictions and let foreign formula hit the market. Because for some reason, us in the US, we can't supply formula to the United States. We can't produce enough formula for the United States because one plant closed down. So now the FDA is going to, this whole thing started over a couple, two children died, which is heartbreaking. 4 got sick out of this plant, of the formula that was being, that they were drinking. Right. So this is how this whole thing started. Well, what do you think is going to happen if the FDA loosens restrictions and starts to bring in formula from other countries and we start importing formula? To me, it's just, does that solve the issue? It's putting like a Band-Aid on a dam. You know what I mean? I'm worried for folks that are having children now, because if you're using some sort of imported formula, it doesn't go probably to the same rigorous testing that it does here in the US. But let me get back into the potato thing real quick. Sorry. I just get on these tangents sometimes because it just blows my mind to see how this administration is handling things. And again, like I said, is it by design? Is it by design, folks? It says the U.S. has seen a steady decrease in the number of acres of potatoes harvested, offsetting in many cases the positive effect of increased yields. One state losing potato acreage at a fast clip is California due to water shortages, which we've talked about. The mega drought. California, this is their third year in the water restrictions. The government's even cut off water to the farmers. So what do they expect? Anyways, says water shortages in the Klamath Basin, the state's main potato growing region. As drought worsened this summer, authorities cut off water to irrigation systems to sustain lake water levels for several species of endangered fish. California's potato production plunged 29% in the past 2 years, while acres harvested declined by 31%. So less potatoes from California. Meanwhile, potato trade flows have been disrupted worldwide. Disastrous flooding in Vancouver, British Columbia in late fall caused a major cargo backup for one of North America's largest ports, causing fast food restaurants in Japan, the largest export market for the U.S. potatoes, to run short of French fries. Restaurants in East Africa are facing similar shortages due to poor crop in South Africa brought on by excessive rainfall. So not enough rain, too much rain. Crazy. And then we're going to jump back into Canada. Exports from Canada also have been curtailed after potato wart outbreak prompted an export ban from Prince Edward Island, Canada's largest producing province, with import flows interrupted. U.S. purchasers, especially in the Northeast, have needed to find alternative product, most likely from the domestic U.S. crop. So, excuse me. So that's kind of like the big picture of the whole potato apocalypse in regards to how it's all being named. And that this is also exacerbated by the supply chain and getting things from point A to point B, also the labor issues and having enough people to, to work in these farms. It's just going to be another situation that down here I'm telling you folks, by the fall of this year, we're probably going to see shortages that were never thought of that would ever happen in the United States. You see, Little Miss Prepper says, can potatoes be planted year-round in Zone 9 in Texas since warmer climate? Little Miss Prepper, I will let you know this season because I'm going to grow potatoes. That's one of the things. And for a lot of you folks who participated in that video, I'm going to do 3 50-gallon grow bags. We're going to do potatoes. I'm also going to get a shot at the Three Sisters, which is your corn. I think I have Kentucky, what were they? The Kentucky pole beans. I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do the squash as well, some heirloom squash to wrap up the whole Three Sisters thing. And we'll see how they do in a 50-gallon grow bag. Thunderstorm last night filled my 55-gallon water barrel. That's awesome, Dale. That is awesome. What's up, Stuart? Good to see you. I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. Thank you so much, brother. Peter Rouse says sweet potatoes are far better nutritional than potatoes. And Peter Rouse, I agree with you 110%, brother. I have sweet potatoes growing right now. Every year I grow sweet potatoes because sweet potatoes love Florida sandy soil, and they grow pretty well. I prefer sweet potatoes because of the nutritional density of a sweet potato, but I want to have my hand at the spuds. I've never grown white potatoes, and I figure with the situation being what it is, why not see if I can do it? Because if I ever need to, at least I know how to and have a little bit of experience with it. Unknown Vector, what is up? Appreciate you being here. Jennifer Cruz, every time I watch GreyMan, I feel like I need to be drinking coffee. Yes, Jennifer, you got to have you need to have a cup of Bustelo always by your desk. Or wherever you're at. If you're going to watch Grey, you got to have the coffee. And if you don't like coffee, I like green tea, and there's various other teas and herbal teas that I love. But I love my coffee. Peter Rouse, also potatoes are nightshade. Yeah, Peter Rouse, potatoes are nightshades. Tomatoes are nightshades. Peppers are nightshades. There's a lot of nightshade plants in the family that a lot of us grow in our garden. Cafecito. That's right. That's right, Rudy. That's right. Lynn says, I'm planting potatoes tonight. That's awesome, Lynn. I love coffee, and Bustelo is my favorite. Yes, and that's that's my biggest fear. I've been stocking coffee, man. I've been like a coffee fanatic just because I just don't ever want to run out of coffee. And the way Cafe Bustelo is packed, it will last you several years. You can even take it a step further. My wife is, she's actually doing research on getting beans and stuff like that, because green coffee beans last the longest from my understanding in the preparedness community. But I figure I also stock a lot of freeze-dried coffee like your instant coffees, because that's all that is your freeze-dried coffees reconstituted with water. And as you know, with freeze-dried things, you're going to get 25 to 30 years out of most things. So I have a lot of that put up as well. And I get a vacuum sealed just to throw a little extra thing on there and throw it in the can and save it for worst case scenarios. I'm going to grow photos like the Martian. Great woman, right on, like the Martian. Oh, man. The smell of Bustelo alone wakes me up. I agree. That smell is something you can't miss. PJ Burke just stocked up more Bustelo instant coffee. Must have. Right on, PJB. I'm going to add okra and eggplants to my garden. Van Roo, that's awesome. I have three different varieties of eggplant growing, and I'm probably going to do okra too. I like fried okra. A lot of people don't like okra, but I'm going to give it a shot at my hand of growing because it works well in hot weather environments. So why not, right? Why not? Still trying to figure out how much water to water potatoes. Just harvested some a bit on the small side. Penny, I'll be learning that as well. So if you want to down the road, you can watch what I do and see how it works out, and we can learn together, because that's what this whole community is about: is learning together, learning from each other, which I think is awesome. But if I need to get back into the mainstream of things, which is our conversation here, what do I have for you? I have a couple articles, and then I have a couple screenshots of some things I wanted to share with you. I'm just looking for where the articles are. There she is. Because this is in the UK, and ironically enough, he's being slammed over it now by some of the politicians for warning the people. Anyways, it says bank governor in apocalyptic warning over rising food prices. To me, I'm glad someone is speaking out, because they need to. Why try to sugarcoat everything and wait till people get into a position and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're in a food shortage? Why not tell the people now so that they can get ready? I know, and they're worried about mass panic and people going crazy and stuff like that. But man, it's really a shame that a lot of governments wait to the last minute to tell people. And then funny enough, a lot of people are told either by channels like myself or others, or read it or hear it on the news, and I'm like, I'm good. There's a Publix down the street, or Walmart or Costco. They always got food. I'm good. And I just look and shake my head. I'm like, it's a shame that you think that way, buddy. Anyways, the possibility of more rises in food prices is a major worry for the UK and other countries. The Bank of England governor has warned, apologizing for sounding apocalyptic. Andrew Bailey said the war in Ukraine was affecting food supplies. Mr. Bailey also defended the bank's performance following criticism and has not done enough to try to rein in rising prices. Inflation rate is which prices rise is at a 30-year high over there in England, or the UK, or wherever you want to call it. I always butcher everything. Mr. Bailey warned that a very big income shock from the increase in global good prices would hit demand in the economy and push up unemployment. So the cost of goods are going to go up. Unemployment's going to go up. Those two combinations doesn't make sense, does it? Because if you're unemployed and the cost of goods are so high, you can't afford to buy things. You can't afford to eat. So then, of course, people are going to go to the welfare system and try to go to food banks and other means of way of getting food. And some of those things are going to dry up, kind of like how California is doing right now. They're going to dry up, and they're not going to have the means to feed those folks. So when you think about food lines, when you think about, that's, some people say, well, I don't think there's not going to be enough food for people. Like, well, that's one piece of the puzzle. There may not be enough of this or that for people, but the cost of the food itself may be priced out of your range where you cannot afford it. You know what I mean? Now, some people say, well, they'll have to revert to the staples, but just imagine a loaf of bread or a bag of potatoes, if you can find it, if it comes to that, and the bag of potatoes costs you $50 for, 8 pounds of potatoes. $50. Imagine paying that price for potatoes. Think about the price it costs to grow your own potatoes. So that's what I'm saying. You have to cost average some of these things and see what benefits you out there, because I think by, grabbing some spuds while they're still available, just in case things really do go south, and grow my own, at least I don't have to depend on the system or worry about the price. Because once you grow one potato, then you have all these other potatoes that you can use to grow and keep that flow going. Now, I know some folks are in cold environments. This might give you an idea to start something like a greenhouse or something like indoors and whatnot. I'm not familiar. I don't know. I'm assuming people do grow potatoes indoors. Where there's a will, there's a way, folks. And I'm pretty sure someone out there is doing it. He also said that difficulty shipping out food supplies from the Ukraine could hit world supplies of wheat and cooking oil. We all know that. We've been discussing it for months now, right? And it's funny now how it's hitting mainstream media. World wheat prices have risen over 25% over the past 6 weeks. Who is to blame for soaring prices? Yeah, good question, right? There's a lot of uncertainty around the situation, Mr. Bailey said. And the major worry is that not just I have to tell you a major worry for this country, there's a major worry for the developing world as well. And so if it had, man, I'm messing this up. I'm messing this article up today because I'm moving too fast. Anyways, there's a major worry for the developing world as well. That means us, not third world countries. Developing worlds, developing world. Well, I think no, I'm getting that wrong. Here we go. Gray getting crazy again. There's a major worry for developing world. Okay, so he means like third world countries. Got too far ahead of myself. Anyways, to wrap this up, it says, and if so, if I had to sorry for being apocalyptic for a moment, but that is a major concern. Anyways, this gentleman here, he's the one he's very concerned of what the situation resolves. And some people in the, he's gotten a lot of kickback from it. People are like, why are you scaring people? Why are you putting this out there? And then I watched, there's a guy that I watch on YouTube that lives in the UK that shows you the newspapers that's floating around the UK, their periodicals and whatnot. And he shows all the major newspapers are saying food crisis inbound, food shortages inbound, and the list goes on. And he says, if no one's paying attention, they probably sure are now. Let me see. Pony Girl says, I'm getting my stuff together for indoor hydroponic greens. Arizona 106 weather keeps me from growing lettuce and that kind of outside. Man, that is hot out there. Ostlander, what is good to see you. And Palmer, best pumpkins we can grow from the compost. Roger that. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato. Right on, Sandy. Okie Khan, I love pickled okra, fried okra, and gumbo. Good point, Okie. Let me see. Joni says, the harvesting my potatoes this weekend. $10 for 8 pounds at Hellmart. Roger that. Oh, and speaking of Walmart, so remember Yarn Prepper had put out that thing about the, I think it was Yarn. Wasn't it you, Yarn, that put out the thing about Augustin's Farm hard white wheat that was on sale at Walmart? Well, I ordered a couple of them because it was so cheap. And guess what Walmart decided to do? It was supposed to be here a couple of days ago. Walmart canceled my order and said, sorry, out of stock, and sent me my money back. So they put something on sale, entice you, and then you go to order it, because I literally ordered it right after the live stream. And this morning, matter of fact, I received an email saying, sorry, we returned your money. That thing is out of stock, even though it let me order it. So when you want to see, when you see a good deal, folks, you might want to jump on it ASAP, by any means necessary kind of thing. Yeah, Little Miss Prepper, I was kind of shocked myself. It wasn't you, Yarn? Sorry to blame you, Yarn. I'm not blaming anybody. But I'm saying, I remember someone had, Vanru said, I got my wheat from Walmart today. That's awesome, Vanru. I'm glad some folks got it, because it was a hell of a deal. I'm not sure if the government is more corrupt than ours. No, I'm not sure there is a government. Yeah, right, Diabetic Prepper. I hear you there. It was me, and they canceled mine on the day it was due. Ah, okay. Thank you, JT. Sorry to get you and Yarn confused. But yeah, JT threw me off. So you got yours canceled as well. How convenient for these folks to do that to us. Walmart canceled my canning jars order also. Well, thank you, Gina's Kitchen, for letting us know that, because evidently, again, there's an issue. Even with the master conglomerate Walmart that has their hands everywhere. They're basically a direct line to China. Let's not even get on China, folks. Did you guys hear about the leaked audio from the meeting that Xi Jinping and that came out of China? What's going on? I guarantee you, I don't know exactly when, but they're going to try to take Taiwan. It's almost a guarantee at this point, after reading that information and looking at what China has done over the several years to insulate themselves, to prevent what's happening to Russia to happening to them. I almost feel like this whole situation in China is almost a dry run. You know, at first I thought it was more conspiratorial than anything, but as I started looking more into it and looking at China's history and looking at what they've been doing over the last few years, makes me think this may be intentional. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm just kind of, this is just my opinion and my own conclusion I'm drawing from material that I've been reading and researching. Let me see here. Suzanne says, a sure standard can cancel my order for wheat 2 months in a row. Wow. So it's not just Wally World and Augustin's Farm. The problem was it was such a good deal because if you look at on Amazon, it was almost twice the amount of money to buy it there. It was like half the cost on Walmart. So I figured, why not? Why not order some? I seen one yellow jacket bumblebee today, just one. What's intentional? Oh, Empress Kimberly, I'm talking about the whole situation with China and their lockdowns and what they're doing in their country. It's like they've done a lot of different things they're working on their infrastructure per se. Basically, if they had to close their doors to the rest of the world, could they survive if they were hit with major sanctions from all over the globe like Russia's being hit right now? Remember, over the last several years, think about how much food China's been buying, wheat and soy and stuff like that. You have to look at, they've converted stuff like their ferries. I don't know if you know what ferries are. Ferries, like you go to like, I'm trying to think where you go. Like, is it New Jersey? There's places where they ferry and you ferry across to get to the mainland or something like that. Well, they've retrofitted a lot of their ferries and stuff like that to carry, soldiers and to carry heavy equipment. Matter of fact, China has the largest naval fleet in the world now. And some people say, well, people are going to say, well, our naval fleet is stronger. Our naval fleet is this. Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying. But regardless, China now has the largest naval fleet, just like Russia has the largest arsenal of nuclear weapons. So we have two major regimes, two major countries that one has the largest navy and one has the largest nuclear arsenal. Because of our politics here in the United States, this is what's been happening. Now, of course, we have some of the things that are, what is it called? We're very technical, with our drones and our types of airplanes and jets and all the stuff that we have. Yes. But do we have enough? Like I talked about that one time about us giving all our Javelin missiles over to Ukraine and depleting our reserves of the Javelin missiles. And from my understanding, from what I've read and the people that I've talked to, said now there may not be enough Javelin missiles to replenish our stock for several years. Hopefully Taiwan doesn't need those, right? Starts in the Middle East. All the world's a stage. I like that name. Listen to A View from the Space with Gary Bell. Roger that. Short Bus Mooner, good to see you. Tomatoes. Hey, great in chat. What's up, Sin99? All right, so let me get back to what else did I have for you on these articles? I thought I had one more article. Let me close this. Oh, and here's one thing I want to show you, folks. I saw this and I just feel like I needed to share this because, again, I told you our media, our mainstream media, what you see, no matter where you go, even periodicals, have the capability to lie to you, and they're covered by law. So I definitely want to share this real quick. It says Reuters uses image of men with paintball guns for Ukraine story. So the story was that Ukraine had made some hedgeway or something like that, and they use this picture right here. But when you look at this picture, that's a paintball gun. That's a hopper. This is not the Ukrainian military, at least as far as I know. Is that what $40 billion buys you? Is paintball gun? I don't know. Anyways, it says Ukraine. This was the article. It says Ukraine says it had repelled Russian incursion in the Sumy region. Said the photo shows several military gear-clad men crouched in defensive position with weapons. A close examination of the photo reveals that men are armed with paintball guns, as would be expected. Many Twitter users found the notion of insurgents fighting off a hostile foreign invasion with paintball guns to be absurd. A barrage of ridicule ensued. Reuters has since then changed that picture and took it down off that. And there's a couple other things on there, all kinds of stories and stuff like that. So the media, again, folks, has the capability to just to kind of feed you whatever they want, and have the mainstream folks believe it. They believe into it. Got to go. You all have a good night. Take care, Marilyn, and thank you for joining us. What's up, Christopher Alexander? Good to see you. Smiling Wolf, good to see you as well. Pony Girl, did I see you? What's up? Pony Girl says, every country is bleeding us dry, but we allow it. It's a trap. Well, I can see that your point and seeing that as well, because If you look at the whole formula situation down there in for the illegal immigrants on the Texas border, if you look at where the potatoes are going down in Mexico, and like I said, Rudy did an excellent video on that. You could check out his channel. He did a really excellent breakdown of how that's all playing out. But yes, I agree with you 100%. We're not. It's like almost like the current administration is not really paying attention to we the people, us as Americans, and they're worried about nation building all around the globe. For what reasons? I don't know. It's just odd to say the least. What's up, Miguel Boricua? Good to see you. Oh, so this whole war has just been a big paintball game. I get it now, right? Oh, right, Okie. Oh man, and I'm assuming there's more to it, folks. I don't want to take away from people that have lost their lives because there's something going on over there. And we've talked to KT and a couple other folks with boots on the ground. We've talked to people in that area who have seen firsthand what's going on. But how much is factual? How much is force fed of propaganda? That I don't know. Eventually, we will find out, because a lot of people say Russia's getting their butt handed to them. And I get that a lot. People like, at least we're kicking Russia's, or at least the Ukrainians are kicking Russia's butt. They look weak. And all the things that people say, but Russia is still taking over parts of Ukraine. Russia's still moving forward. They're still sustaining what they're doing. So I don't want to say that there's a clear winner here. You know what I'm saying? But they're still moving forward with whatever they plan on doing. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. On my way, Ethel. Yeah, most likely he does. Most likely he does, Ethel. All right, Ethel. So that being said, I got let me bring up some things I wanted to share with you some screenshots that I have. Dragon, what's up, brother? Good to see you, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the support. Mira Brzezinski from MSNBC says it's our job is to control exactly what people think, meaning the mainstream media. Exactly, Dragon. What's up, Smiling Wolf? The USA is Babylon. Roger that. So let's bring up the farmers. I wanted to talk to you about that. So let me bring that up, because the farmers are trying to warn everybody. The farmers have been trying to warn everybody, folks. The farmers would know firsthand what's going to happen this fall. They're the ones planting the crops. They're the ones that, grow our food here in the United States. And they see what's happening firsthand. And if the farmers are concerned, then we truly, as American citizens, should definitely be concerned. Anyways, as this article says here, it says, we're in a crisis. Farmers sound the alarm over coming food shortages. How many times do we have to tell people this is something that's coming around the corner? And people are already dealing with it. I've talked to people that have had to make really tough decisions because they can't afford gas. And we're going to talk about gas too. I'm going to show you something, because gas has hit an all new high in this country, an all new high from California to Florida. Big jumps in the gas price. And I told you this. Remember, I said a while back, and someone said, hey, at least gas prices are going down. I said, that is a farce, because it's just going to be a little temporary thing, and then you're going to see it skyrocket. And nothing against that person. I'm just saying that I had a feeling in my gut that looking at the oil market and everything else that was transpiring, the gas, that was just like a little hiccup per se in the road for gas prices to skyrocket. And I've been telling you since a while now that as the summer progresses, as we move into the summer seasons, gas is going to skyrocket. Anyways, back to this article. It says the American food supply chain is in a crisis right now. Not Sri Lanka, not Venezuela, not Russia, but America's food supply chain is in a crisis right now. A crisis that could be reflected on grocery store shelves and wallets by the end of summer. This warning comes from farmer John Boyd Jr., the president of the National Black Farmers Association, who spoke to Leland Vittert on News Nation's On Balance. He says poor planting weather across much of the country, higher prices on seeds, fertilizer, and fuel, and supply chain issues are taking a heavy toll on farmers. He says high production costs are impacting farmers tremendously. We're going to see a lot of empty shelves and a lot more higher prices, Boyd Jr. said. He is calling on the federal government, don't know why, to give financial aid to farmers to help at least mitigate some of the increased costs they are seeing. which would ultimately lead to higher prices for consumers. Again, they're not going to be growing as much. They're looking at all these things affecting them. And then again, higher prices for consumers. Well, who are the consumers? We, the American people. We're already being stressed. We already have the whole inflation clause. We look at what the feds are doing. If the feds push, if we get into double digits in inflation, we're going to see something like we've never seen before in this country, probably. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot worse than the Great Depression because of the amount of people that we have in this country and the population density that it is now versus when that was transpiring back in 1929, if I recall that correctly. Anyways, he says farming isn't Republican. It isn't Democrat. It isn't independent. It's food. Boyd Jr. said land is neutral. My grandfather said land knows no color and it doesn't know any party. If we do what we need to do, we can produce the food. So do you think these people are going to listen to this farmer and some of the other farmers out there that they're in a crisis? Do you think the government is going to bail them out? That's my question to you. Do you think the government is going to intervene? Because if this is by design, per se, right? If we want to get conspiratorial, some people, and I'm not saying that we are, but I'm just saying some people like to say it's conspiratorial when we talk about stuff like Agenda 2030 and places like that. Those type of topics, right? Malachi's Corner says, without diesel, the trucks stop, the tractor stop, and fruit production stop. Exactly, Malachi. Thank you for that. What's up, Gardner Joss? Long time no see. All right, folks. So moving on past that, the government already intervened. That they have, Minuteman 69. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. No BG is buying all the farmland not to produce. Yeah, snakebite. And you know what he wants to put on those farmlands? So I wanted to know why he bought all those farmlands. He doesn't want to grow food and then try to use the food to control the people. For some weird reason, majority of the land he wants to do is he wants to put windmills up. He wants to put windmills up on the lands that he's buying. I'm assuming there's some other key factors at play because remember, folks, we only know so much. We're only fed so much information. And if you don't dig deep enough, that's the only information that you have to derive your conclusions from. We, the American people, are always going to be blindsided by what the true intentions of government is doing. So this is why emergency preparedness, or the word prepping and being prepared in general, is such a huge thing. Because again, I ask, why not? Why not have some rice put away? Why not have some coffee, medical supplies, extra water, ways to heat yourself, ways to cool yourself? Why not have these options? This is why prepping should be a part of everyone's life, like it was hundreds of years ago, if not 50 years ago. And it made me think, I was watching Rudy's video on his the Opus solar generator, and it's ironic because they're sending me the same one, and I was thinking, well, man, now I got to figure out how to do my review on this product that Rudy's done a review on. So I was taking some pointers off Rudy. I know it totally has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but they had reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll do a review. Why not? And funny enough, the company reached out to me and said, hey, we can't send you the solar panel yet because it's out of stock, but we'll get it to you as soon as possible. And I thought that was quite intriguing, to say the least. Dragon, thank you for the super chat again, brother. Ronald Reagan, 9 most dangerous words in the world. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Right, Dragon? Great point. Great point. And again, thank you for the support, brother. I truly appreciate the super chat. But anyways, yeah, so you'll see a review from me as well coming up with that product. I'm really looking forward to it. I've watched other reviews on it before I even said yes to the company, and I was actually pretty impressed. I'm going to try to push it as far as I can. 1800 watts, pretty cool. We'll see what happens. What's up, Barbara? Good to see you. Smiling Wolf, I have no idea what your guys are talking about, but I just happened to see that. Carrie says, Jen Psaki blame mothers hoarding baby formula for the formula crisis. Yes, Carrie, that's what the government does best. Blame the people. They can never take the responsibility that it's their fault because it's a political thing. That they take responsibility for it, the voters get upset and they can't use a narrative to force feed other things down your throat. The politics in general is a horrible situation. Whenever you look at these promises that these politicians try to feed people, and how many of these promises do they actually that hold true to through their, I was going to say presidency, but through their, when they're elected, like, what do they actually follow through with this stuff? When it comes to the things that they tell the people to get elected, because then they get tainted by money, power, and greed. Be it a Republican, be it a Democrat, be it an independent, whoever is in there in Congress, some of those lifelong politicians make their living off feeding people empty promises. It's insane. And the people keep on voting for it. Look at California. California is insane, and they just keep on voting for the Democrat. Why not give it a change? Switch it up a little bit. Vote for Republican. See what happens. Worst case scenario, you can't get any worse than you already are. Speaking of that, let's jump into the gasoline situation. And I don't mean to harp on California, because there's a lot of great California people out there. I've talked to some of you folks. Some of you guys are in chat right now. There's some great people that live out there, and they're kind of stuck where they can't afford to leave California, because California is becoming a place where only the rich can survive. It's like, it's bad, folks. So let's pull up the gas situation here. I'm going to bring this up. Like I said, it's a scary fact that this is how our world, how close we are to the edge of just insanity, if we're not already there. Anyways, it says, California, we've reached another all-time gas price record. Is there any relief ahead? Prices topped $6 a gallon throughout the Golden State as gas costs soared nearly 30% since the start of the year. 30%. $6 a gallon for regular gas. Not even diesel. Diesel's probably up into the $7, $8 range in certain places. It's insane, folks. Anyways, Bay Area gas prices have blown past $6 a gallon in recent days, just 2 months after drivers were stunned to see the average top price of $5 continue to climb with no sign of slowing down. In San Jose, prices on Tuesday averaged $6.12. Oakland hit $6.13, while San Francisco and Marin counties were tied for the most expensive at $6.27, according to AAA. The state average topped $6 for their first time on Tuesday, 30 cents higher than a month ago. As Russia's invasion of Ukraine combined with surging inflation increased fuel demand, spiked gasoline prices. It also has staggering. It is also a staggering $1.36 increase since the beginning of the year. Crazy. Now, let me try to see if I can scroll over to Florida here real quick. Where is it at? Let me blah blah blah. Where's my Florida? All right, so here I'm in Florida. And to me, gas prices are just gone. They jumped 30 cents overnight. Anyways, it says Florida sets another record high for gas prices. So from the East Coast to the West Coast, gas prices are setting records, sometimes even almost to a daily record in certain areas. Anyways, Miami, the price of gasoline has risen yet again, setting another unwanted record for Florida. AAA reported on Monday. The state average price for gasoline reached a new high of $4.49, way better than $6, I guess, per gallon on Sunday. This beats the previous record for $4.38 a gallon. My area, it's currently $4.49 a gallon, exactly at the high. Setback $4.38 per gallon was set back in March, just after the Russian invaded Ukraine. You notice the consistency with the Russia-Ukraine thing, right? The consistency of it's all Russia and Ukraine's fault. It's all Russia and Ukraine's fault. The consistency of all these media outlets want to feed that into the American people. It cannot be our current administration. It cannot be these green infrastructure deals that they're doing, this Build Back Better agenda. It can't be none of that. It can't be shutting down the pipelines. It can't be canceling the leases in the Gulf and Alaska. It can't be none of that. It has to be Russia and Ukraine. I call absolutely BS on that. Anyways, sorry to get so heated about that, but I'm so sick of them trying to ram this crap down our throats so that they can look better amongst the American people. But American people are getting a lot smarter, I tell you that. Anyways, it says the state average is now $1.60 per gallon more than a year ago, and it now costs $67 for a full 15-gallon tank of gas. Most of us have tanks bigger than 15 gallons. My wife is paying almost $90 to fill up her little Dodge Journey. Anyways, it says a whopping $24 more than what drivers paid this time last year. Drivers are dealing with unprecedented pain at the pump as things could get worse before they get better, said Mark Jenkins, spokesman for AAA. So they're even expecting it. Even the media and these folks out there are saying it's going to get worse. So if they're saying it's going to get worse, it's going to get drastically worse than what we expect. Oh, boy. Matter of fact, there was one part that I saw down here. It says, we saw more big gains in the gasoline futures market late last week, which could trickle down to a yet another 10 to 20 cent jump at the pump in the near future. So if it's 4.49, it jumps 20 cents, 59, 4.69. So we're almost at that expected $5 a gallon, which I figure would be here by summer. All right, let me jump into chat real quick before we move on to anything else. Let me close that real quick. Let me see. Tony Snakebite says, had a little over a quarter tank and my Challenger ran me over $71. It's crazy. Tony Bus says, corn planting is about a month and a half behind, closing on to a late date, not to mention cost of anhydrous fertilizer. Yeah, fertilizer is crazy out there. Matter of fact, Amazon will limit you to buying only 2 bags of fertilizer per transaction per month. What's up, Nancy Tharp? Malachi's Corner, thank you for the super chat. I truly appreciate that support. Weren't we energy independent just 2 years ago? Absolutely. Absolutely. We were on a road, on a successful path to be economically in a good position, even after the Charlie Victor, the health crisis per se, right? And everything has been destroyed in about a year. About a year it took them. And they're not done yet, folks. They're not done yet. So we still got 2.5, almost 3 years to go. What else will that administration do to destroy the fabric of this nation and to bankrupt the people? The housing market is expected to hit an all-time situation too, where people are not going to be able to buy homes. They're only going to be stuck in a situation where they can rent. Who wants to keep on throwing away money? That's our American dream, is to buy a home and to raise our family and to just live peacefully. Leave us alone and let us live. Most people just ask for that. We just want to live our lives, raise our family, spend time with friends, and enjoy life. But no, we can't, because the powers that be don't want us to. The powers that be don't want us to. Let me see. Pony Girl says, I'm trying not to order from Amazon. Notice they are not such a good price anymore. Everything is going up. Pony Girl, everywhere you look on Amazon, people, this blew me away. On eBay, this is how nasty people are. On eBay, people are trying to sell a can of formula for $300. Knowing that there's mothers out there that are in a situation who can't breastfeed for whatever reason that they might not be able to, and they're trying to rob these people for $300 because they know it's an essential item that this person might need. And people take advantage of that. So just imagine this. If there's ever a true scenario where where the crap truly hits the fan and our grid goes down or something truly bad happens, just think about what people are going to do. Just think about what your neighbor, someone who you might think is a friend, think about what they're going to do to protect themselves and their families. If you're not in their inner circle, if they're willing to do that now, just think about what they're willing to do in a situation where there is no coming back. There is no relief coming down the pipe for several years, maybe even decades. It's a scary thought. And this is why we prepare, folks. This is why emergency preparedness is such a huge thing to my heart, and hopefully it is to you as well, because it's a security blanket. It's a insurance plan for the survivability of you and your family. You know what I mean? In case anything happens to you, from the small to the large, folks. It doesn't matter. There's always something that's going to create an issue in your life, and it's better to be prepared for that situation than get caught off guard, be it financially, food security, or whatever it may be. Just that's just how I feel, and I'm very passionate about preparedness. Stand by me. You could substitute peas for beans and squash, or like melons. You're welcome, by the way. Stand by me. I don't know if you're talking to me. Stand by me or not. Fox and Outdoors. Also, folks, GreyMan has merch. I haven't sold merch in such a long time. It's still there. YouTube has never given me the option to put my store underneath my thing because they just don't like me. One world government. Carice, you're absolutely right. They would love to have that. And that's what they're trying to do. Carrie says food riots coming this fall. Could be a great possibility, Carrie. Imagine that. Imagine that in the United States, food riots. Imagine seeing that in our streets, folks. Are you ready for something like that? Scary thought, right? I pray every day. I talk to my wife, I talk to my daughter, and I say, you know what? I hope somehow I get it wrong. I hope somehow that what I'm reading into and my thought on this, I'm wrong. that things are going to get better. We're going to see a ray of light come, and everything is going to get substantially better. Food's going to be plentiful. War is going to cease, and everything's going to be happy. You know, what's it called? Unicorn and rainbows. However you want to look at the situation. But unfortunately, I just don't feel that way. I don't feel that way, and I hope you folks take things seriously. Not if you don't listen to me, you know, maybe you watch Rudy over at the Alaska Prepper. Maybe you watch Magic Prepper. Maybe you watch Canadian Prepper, Angry, whoever you watch, right? Maybe they'll get through to some folks that I don't get through to. They have a wider audience and they have that capability to do so. One day I'll be there. But for now, I have you, the great community, to thank for helping me spread these messages and getting the information out. I truly do, and I truly appreciate that. All right, where are we at? Man, I got a couple more things I wanted to go over with you guys before we end this. So I'm going to try to run through these last couple really quick. I know we're just a hair over an hour. I want to say thank you to all the folks that have been hanging out here with me. We have 253 folks in chat, or 252, and 169 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Let me see here. I know I got my other notes here, and we'll try to run through this quick. I know folks have things to do and other live streams to check out. Florida gas interest rates. There we go. Because I want to show you this, because I think this is how, unfortunately, this is how these people think. This is unfortunately how these people think. It says the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said Tuesday that the central bank will continue to raise short-term interest rates, which will likely slow economic activity until there is a clear and convincing evidence that inflation is coming down. So they're going to continue to raise interest rates. But here's the part that really agitates me. He says, we will go to that point and there won't be any hesitation about that, Powell said at a Wall Street Journal. So no matter how this is going to affect the American people, they're going to do it no matter what. They're going to raise interest rates no matter what. And people's like, well, how does interest rates affect me? Well, it affects your buying power. For one, if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to buy a house now compared to a year ago, you might buy a house for $300,000 and you're going to end up paying $700,000, $800,000 for that house because the interest rates are so high. So you're going to be paying on that house way beyond that 30-year mortgage. You know what I mean? If not, your payments in themselves are going to be unattainable. Where normally you would pay $1,500 for your mortgage, you would be paying $3,000 or $4,000 if you can even afford that, with the cost of fuel and food and all the other necessities that come with life. All right, what else do I have here? I'll get to that. I'll wrap up with that there. Where was it at? This is the last one I think I have. I wanted to share this because this is from Mark Rubio. A lot of people know who this politician is. It says, if we think that the energy, because this has to do with China, which I was talking about earlier in the stream. It says, if we think the energy leverage Putin had over Europe was substantial, the leverage China potentially has over America and the West is extraordinary. I sat, and I need to read, this is the person, the interviewer who sat down with Mark Rubio, who's the vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Intelligence, to discuss how the Chinese regime has been systematically co-opting our elites for decades and leveraging the American system against us, the American people, from our innovation to our laws to our free markets. If the supply chain for any key industries, ranging from medicine, keyword there, folks, medicine, to fighter jets, from technology to food, if any of it comes from China, we should assume that it will be weaponized against us in the future, Senator Rubio says. Weaponized against us, the American people. They don't even have to fire a round. They don't have to put a boot on the ground here in the United States to cripple the United States because of our dependency on their exports. That's a crazy thing to think of, folks. China's extreme zero Charlie Victor lockdowns and the subsequent supply chain disruptions are one of the main drivers of rampant inflation in the United States, says Senator Rubio. I don't know about all that, with the inflation, because I know folks like to blame other people. He is a politician, but he does have some facts here. And this is something they didn't intend to do. It's just happening. And okay, I retract that. I didn't read the entire thing. I should have read this before I even said anything. But he says, and this is something they didn't intend to do. It's just happening. Imagine if they intended to do it. So basically, with that article, what he's saying is just imagine if China does. I mean, I think China is, but if China goes full force at sanctioning the U.S. with the powers and the exports that they have, look what's already happening. Look what's already happening with China being shut down the way it is, how everything has just gone chaotic. So just imagine if they decide to weaponize their exports against the United States. Medicine, folks. Remember how much of our medication, how much of our medication comes from China. Scary thought. Last but not least, I wanted to end this because of what's being weaponized by the Democratic Party in Buffalo, which was truly a sad event. But this is an interesting fact of the day that I thought I wanted to share with you folks. According to the federal statistics, guns are only used in 7.9% of all violent crimes. Maybe they aren't the problem after all. Maybe it really is the person holding it. I guarantee you folks, the Democratic Party is going to use what's been transpiring in LA, Chicago, New York, here in Florida, in Texas, everywhere that you're seeing all this craziness with folks using firearms illegally and criminally. They're going to try to use this for their own political gain and to try to attack the Second Amendment. If you live in a state like New York or Illinois or California, you guys know what I'm talking about. How hard is it for you, the American citizen, legally to purchase a firearm without jumping through so many hoops and paying so many different fees? That's why a lot of states need to move to this whole constitutional carry thing. Even I'm here pushing for that in Florida. I'm part of a couple of groups that are trying to push for, like Anthony Sabatini here in Florida is pushing for it. DeSantis is a great governor, but he needs to push forward with constitutional carry because it's our constitutional right, folks. Let me see. Yeah, right, Dragon. Dragon, just think about just not too long ago, Dragon. Remember the whole Chinese drywall situation and how that erupted years ago and how it was tainted and whatnot? Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, folks. Anyways, folks, if you got any value out of the live stream, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, I understand. But anyways, I want to wrap this up by saying thank you to every single one of you that joined me tonight on the live stream. I truly appreciate that. I look forward to seeing some of your gardens in the Discord. I look forward to seeing some of your emails in regards to your garden. I like to see everybody growing. Growing your own food is huge. But other than that, I want to say thank you for being here, taking the time to be here and spending this time with me and listening to me ramble on. Mods, thank you for being who you are and what you do. I truly appreciate you guys as well. Thank you all for the super chats and the continued support of this community and being prepared. All right. So please be safe out there, folks, and realize that you are not alone. You have myself and the great community. If you ever need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Down in the description is my email. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you ever have any questions or issues that arise. All right. This is GreyMan. I'm out. God bless. Stay safe.